That'll work. Well, what did I just do?
You're good.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. It's Nadine. So I am very happy about this session today. I am joined by Anna Findley, who is a teacher in Greenfield Community School Corporation here in Indiana. And Simone Buckley, I know from Google Innovator Group when we got to meet out in New York City. I'm going to let each of them introduce themselves a little bit more, give you guys their background. If you want to put in there off to the comments, if you want to tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do, that will help us. You can also post any kind of questions, and then we'll try to make sure that we get to your questions during this time as well. Okay. Oh, and we have someone here from the Philippines already. So woohoo. Nice.
Great.
All right, ladies, I'll let you go ahead and get started with introducing yourself. Anna, you want to kick us off?
Yeah, sure. My name is Anna Findley. I teach at Greenfield Central Junior High School here in Greenfield, Indiana. I have been teaching, this is my 16th year teaching, and teach kids with moderate to severe disabilities. We're really focused on inclusion and the kids being exposed to grade level alternate standards. So you'll see some big things for kids with disabilities if you're used to teaching life skills all day, but I can show you how I'm doing it.
Nice. All right, Simone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Simone Buckley. So I met Nadine through the Google Innovator Project, so Google Innovator Academy, excuse me. So we met there. I have been all over the United States. I have been a special educator in Florida, Georgia, an assistive technology specialist in California, and now Massachusetts. I've worked with students on the autism spectrum, and I've worked with students with severe complex needs as well. So I will kind of be showing you some of the tools that I use. It's kind of a broad range of tools for different students. Right now, I'm currently at the campus school at Boston College, where I'm the AT specialist there. And I'm excited to show you guys everything that I got.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies. Well, we're going to hop right in because I know that they have lots of things to share. We're going to have Anna start out first. Anna, do you want me to go ahead and start sharing your screen?
Sure, go ahead.
Cool.
And I can send this to you, a link to this Google Doc that I'm showing you right now. I just put everything in here in one place for everybody, and then you can just click the links. I put them in the chat box, but I might have
You did it right. I'm gonna transfer it over. You can go ahead and get started.
Okay. So this first one is just an example of my Google Slides. Since we're on extended e-learning, I wanted my parents to be able to go to one place to be able to launch from there to know what the assignments are for the day. So as this loads, so I just posted here a picture of all my kiddos, what my office hours will be. And then I had a little welcome video for the first day of school. I actually was able to make it on iMovie. I have a green screen behind me. I don't know if you guys noticed, but then I looked like I was actually in my classroom when I was talking. And then this is what Nadine showed me, and I love this. So this is their launch pad. These are the 5 assignments that they have due for the day. And every day they have 5 assignments due, and kind of rotated since our kids can't really, it's harder for them to pay attention for a long period of time. I tried to make my lessons about 10 to 15 minutes each. And that was it. And the parents, some of them work and do all of them at once. Other kids need breaks and things like that, but they just kind of work at their own place. So if you click on math, it takes you to the math page. When they're done with that, you click here and they're done, and they can go back to each page as you go along. So those HyperDocs links are pretty awesome and make it pretty easy. My kids are familiar with the all done symbol. When you're done, it's going to look like this, and then you're finished for the day. So I wanted to show you with my math. I figured out through Google Slides how to make errorless learning videos. Actually, I just kind of trial and error, but so I made this video, and it's kind of like, I like to say like Blue's Clues a little bit, like where they ask a question.
Guys, today we're going to be
and then they stop.
We're only going to talk about 2 of these today. So we're going to start with on the right-hand side.
Okay. So this is just an example of how it is. I used animation and then I used Screencastify over it. So, oh gosh, my links are stuck together. Sorry. Okay. I wanted to show you at like 138 so you guys could see.
Translation. What type of movement does an object show in a translation? Slide. What type of movement does an object show in a translation? Slide or sing?
And then I just pause so the kids can like think, and then I give them the right answer. So this is just an example of errorless learning for the kids. So there's one.
And I love that concept, Anna. Not even just for students that are SPED students. I think any student can benefit from errorless learning, especially with us dealing with distance learning right now.
Yeah. So I always start out, I really do. I start out my lessons every time I teach anyway, just errorless. I do pause and wait for a response, but then I tell them the right answer. And for kids with autism, it's really best not to say, no, that's not right. Like, it's better to tell them the correct answer so they remember the right answer instead of focusing on the wrong. So I tend to teach errorlessly anyway. I just try to do it in a way that
I'm going to stop for just a moment. Anna, do you have a link to can you share the top link? Because whenever you pasted it in there, I got I think you copied and pasted the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now. I'm getting it. Sorry about that.
Because I had some folks that said that the link wasn't working.
Oh, shoot. Is that going to work? It says it's saving. There it is. So I'm going to have to change
that and put that
to public. Look at me learning. I did not know this before.
Well, and not just that, if you want to toss in,
is that the
link at the top of your Google Doc, that's the one that we need.
This one?
Copy that and put that into, yes.
That be right?
There we go. I think that's it. Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
So that is how I'm doing my lessons. And then I do the errorless learning. But then if you want feedback from the kids, I've been doing interactive worksheets. And then I found out, since I'm watching them from a slide, that everybody was on the same one, because I couldn't do it through Google Classroom and get everybody their own copy. Like, once they're in a slide, you have to have them share it back with you. So that's why I have this share back with Miss Anna, and I make them to make a copy, but they put their name on it. So here's just an example of an interactive worksheet. So they do the lesson and then they're able to answer and respond. So what type of movement does an object show when it does a rotation? Is it flip, slide, or turn? And then they just click and drag this into the right box. If you'll notice, the background does not move, because my kids would be messing with all this. So the only things that can move are the three answers. So that's, awesome. Yeah, that's an interactive worksheet to kind of know what they're if they're getting it or not. And then I also use Google Forms a lot. Usually an assessment at the end of the week, and I can insert my images. So this is an obtuse triangle. It has two angles that are acute and one that is, and then they have to answer. And this is all, of course, taught earlier in the week, and then they're able to take the assessment at the end. So I use Google Forms a lot for that. Here's an example of I do, we do, you do lesson example. I put that in here so you guys can see it as well. I've been using Edpuzzle, and I learned that you can put images inside in your questions. So that was kind of exciting. I didn't know you could do that. So I actually have links below that kind of show how you do that. But here's like an intro lesson. Of course, we have to jam. I always find a fun song to go with it. Then I do I just did a Screencastify video. We do it together. And then here's another make them force copy and do, they do it on their own. So I do, we do, you do. You might hear that as a strategy for teaching. So that's an example of that. And then I just put links on here, how to do arrowless learning lesson, how to do an interactive worksheet, how to have students make a copy. And this is the Ed puzzle. They can just click on these links. It shows you like a little tutorial on how to do these. I've been using Mystery Doug, which is mystery science, and I just did a little tutorial on that. Special needs for special kids. You guys can look on all these links. They're great. Tar Heel Reader, you can make your own videos or your own books, or you can take books from there. I like to take them and then edit them and put my own students' pictures on them. That's kind of fun for the kids. Community skills, I made a little lesson on next dollar strategy because we still do some functional skills in the classroom. So this is just a mini lesson on that. And I made interactive worksheets with it.
And I like the fact that, you know, all of these skills that you're teaching, even if I teach kindergarten or first grade, you know, I feel like that a lot of these could be applied to the gen ed classroom as well. So that's why I love the fact that I'm having you guys share all these today.
There is a great, this guy just started a YouTube channel. His name is Pat, but it is awesome. He does the whole Blue's Clues thing too. I think it's great where he asks questions, gives them the answers, and then waits for the response. But there are two that here. And then I just he had some worksheets on there, but they weren't interactive. So I turned them into interactive worksheets that go along with it. So there's some independent living, some next dollar. Yeah. So, and a lot of how-tos. So I don't know if anybody has any questions, but a little bit what I'm doing.
Well, no, that's good. And a lot of them are saying, thank you so much. They love being able to, you know, to access that document and be able to take a look at all of the great things that you're doing. And I know I was blown away because when Anna's brother, Nathan, reached out to me, you know, and we made that connection, the fact that, you know, Anna was struggling with how to, transform into that remote teaching. And then that's what put us together. And she actually found the HyperDoc and the e-learning slides template that I had, but I had never seen it remixed in a way that could be used for students with these types of special needs. So that made my heart happy.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for helping me launch into it. And I did a lot of like extra tutorials and I was going over it. That's why I made my own tutorials, because I feel like it needed to be geared more towards, you know, special education and how did you do that without watching like a 5-minute YouTube channel on how to do it?
Right. That's the way that it should be.
Yeah.
All right. Let's switch over to Simone. And then again, if you guys have questions for Anna and Simone, let me know, because I can see that in the chat and we can make sure that we can take care of that. All right. All right, Simone, I've got you in here.
Okay, guys. So first, what I'm going to show you is I created a website. So when I started at the Google Innovator Academy, my whole initiative was I want to have better professional development for special educators, especially around assistive technology, because and technology in general, just ed tech stuff. Because anytime I went and kind of showed teachers technology, it was more like, oh, that's general ed technology. We can't really use that. I really wanted to promote ways that you really can use it with your students. And then when distance learning happened and everybody was like, okay, now we have to use technology with our students, I decided to create this website so that I could try to help some other educators, not just my own school, but other people around. So the first page is just a little bit about me and where I come from. But if you go over, I have some distance learning tech stuff in here. So on this part of the page, it's really a lot of different resources that you can use. And what I've tried to do is Help Kids Learn. Help Kids Learn is a really great accessible website that offers a lot of switch accessible activities, cause and effect activities. So if you click on the links, the ones that I could get to how they're saving money for families or how they're letting families access it from home, I'm trying to send people right to there. So that way, if you want to refer your families to ways that they can set activities up at home on their own time, that's so important. That's been really important that I found in my practice right now, because parents might not be able to make it to lives. Their child needs something at that moment. Maybe they need a rest at that time. Maybe it's not a good time. Somebody's having a meltdown. So just being able to have parents have the opportunity to do things when they can, because we also have to remember that our parents are working right now too. It's really hard for them to attend everything that we want them to attend and get everything done. So giving them as much activities that they can kind of do on their own time is the best. I also have Tar Heel Reader on here. I know Anna mentioned it as well. It's a great resource where you can go and create your own books. There's a lot of other reading book options. These are kind of all subject options. Vocabulary is really fun. If you want to get, right now they're doing they start off free for 30 days, but like now I have, now I have 57 days. They just upped it because we're out of school for longer. So vocabulary is fun because it's just you can search a subject and it will give you like a cool little rap or something that goes with it, and you can add it to your slides. It just can make things a little bit more engaging. I also added some Chrome extensions. Grid I mean, you might already still have it, but Google Meets did just get updated where now you can see everybody if you change the layout. So you might not need that one, but if you have it right now, it's not a big deal.
I know the custom cursor has been big.
Yes, so I have that right now. So I was going to talk about that kind of when I get to my one of my slides to show kind of the importance of it for me, because it's not really seen as necessarily an accessible access tool, but it can really be when you're doing these live streams. So just to give you a quick little thing, the next thing is distance learning strategies. So you can read this on your own time, but I just wrote some little blurbs on some different subjects that I was getting asked questions a lot about. This is the part that I've gotten. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, thank you, Simone. So these are templates that I've created. And if you click the link below, it's going to kind of force you to make a copy just because I don't want everybody messing up everybody's slides. But I'll kind of show you through some of those right now. So this is just like a morning meeting template that I put together. So like it comes with the song. I don't know if you've ever.
Yes, this guy's awesome.
Oh my gosh, this song is the best song. So
It's so good.
Dwayne Reed. I love this morning meeting song. It's just fun because the kids get involved at some point, and it's just a really cute song. I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but it's fun. Mm-hmm. You can put your students in here, say who's absent, who's present, ask students how they're feeling today. Tell them how if they're not feeling good. Like you can go over some different ways that they could get to be feeling happy today. I did this little video of this girl ripping paper and laughing because that way if students are not having a good day or are a little bit upset, might be something to just get them in a good mood. Then just go over the months, the days of the week. And all of this, obviously, you would change and edit. This, I think, is fun. Like, okay, everybody, go look out your window now and see what it's like out. And when we come back, we can talk about it. So just a nice little timer in there. You can do some graphs, ask them how it's feeling outside, maybe what should you wear, and then like a little goodbye song, and great, we did it. So that's my morning meeting template. I also made a couple social stories that are on there. This one is about wearing a mask and kind of what it is like to wear a mask. Now I have to wear a mask because I want to stay healthy. It might feel different on your skin, the parts of your body it will touch. So that might be something that you're looking for right now to talk to your parents. I don't know about where you are, but right now, Massachusetts, like we have to wear a mask every time we leave the house now. So that's pretty important for me here. One of my other favorite ones is sibling social skills. Again, remember I was trying to say like, what can I give parents to supplement at home when I'm not around? Or even if they have a sibling that can join a live session with them and give their parents a break. Because I know for my students, my parents have to be there in order to kind of help them access the computer and kind of move some things around. So if parents have to be sitting with their students, it might be nice to give them a break if a sibling can come out and help and go over some social skills. So like these are some social skills prompts they could go over and talk about. Like these are some basic ones. Like this is just the sound of a thunderstorm. And you can talk about like, okay, like remember a time that you played in the rain? Talk about what the rain does to trees. How does it make you feel? Then there are some that are a little bit more in depth, I guess I would say. So this one is like a little video about like how you should think something before you say it, because sometimes what you think might be mean and you want to make sure what you're saying is nice. Another thing about personal space, and this one is kind of similar to the rain, but it is like an ocean sound. So those are some nice ideas, and you could obviously take those and you could do those activities with a partner if you want to share. Like you could create take this slide and put it into its own document and have students collaborate on the same document together. So they need to work. So say Susie and Johnny are now collaborating and working on this one social skills task for today.
And I popped up a question. Someone wanted to know how they could reach you, because they said that the website is going to be so helpful to them. On the website, I would assume you have your contact info.
Yes. So over on the website, I do have a contact form. I don't have my email address, but I'll put it there, or I can give it to you in the chat. But basically, this comes right to me and I'd get back to you. So basically, if you have questions for me, I want just to know kind of like what your job is, what assistive ed tech assistance you're looking for, and kind of doesn't need to be fully in depth, but I just like to know kind of what student population you're working for. It's going to help me figure out how to best help you. So you guys can definitely go in and add it there. I can add my email to the chat as well. Maybe I'm just going to send it to you. So okay, so I just want to show you guys, I'm trying not to take up all the time here, but a couple more of the templates that are in there. So this is where I really wanted to show you the cursor. So this one is just a nice, like, which one is different? So if I present this with my students and we're talking about, okay, maybe which picture is different, which one does not belong. One thing that's nice about this custom cursor extension is like you can see how nice and big and red it is. It's very clear which picture I'm talking about. So you can start going over key features. So, oh, wow, this has an ear. This has an ear. This doesn't. Oh, this is definitely an animal. I can see that it's fuzzy. There's some texture there. This is true. This looks like a dog. Nope, that doesn't. That's a cup. So having that cursor there when you're in your lives and you are sharing your screen, it's so much better than when you have like this little black cursor that can sometimes blend into things. And you can make them, if you haven't used the custom cursor, like there's like fun ones. Like if you want to like say grab a student's attention who's like really into, I don't know, like Minions or whatever, you could have like the Minion be your cursor. I just like
awesome.
Yes. I like the nice bright red one because I have a lot of students currently who have CVI. So it's just a nice balance to help them see the cursor with the picture together. And I try, some of my slides are more fun and dynamic than others. This one, I really wanted to go over like the basic just layout of it. Don't try to overthink it. A lot of times when you add too much to a slide, it's too much clutter for some of our students, and you want to keep them nice and clean so that they know what they need to focus on. And the last template I want to show you is just kind of a fun little music activity if you want to do with your students. And this is really, like, this activity is very visual, obviously, right? Oh, also one thing I want to show you real quick. If you have a Mac and you control click, or you could like right click on another computer, if you have an image, you can add alt text to that image, which is right here. So what that does is if you have a student with a visual impairment who might need a screen reader, or a student that just might need the audio, if you haven't put the audio in, you can add the alt text in here as well. So I could write cat there. I haven't done that yet, but you can also, like I was saying about the audio, insert audio, and you can add, like if you do a voice recording and add it to your drive, you can add the audio to this picture. So the student could like click on the picture and hear that it says cat. For this activity, that's kind of like not what I was going for, because I want them to be able to visually tell me which one is different.
Right.
But for this music activity, this one,
I might say too with the audio, like I use it a lot as instructions, like so the kids will know what to do on a certain slide, or parents will. So I'll insert audio directions, I guess. So just another way you can use audio. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's perfect. So this is just like a little fun, short kind of music lesson if your kids were getting into music. This guy's kind of like a very interesting dynamic character, but it's just a nice clapping song. But this is really focused towards maybe students that are more especially like auditory learners. So they have to listen for the instrument. So if I go to this slide, you'll start to hear piano play. So give them some time. Okay, think about what maybe instrument this is. And then if you go to the next slide, oh, it's a piano. The same thing, a guitar will play. Oh, I got a guitar there. And then how I did that without showing it, in case you're new to using Google Slides, is I just added a YouTube video and I put it over here in the corner. So that way it doesn't take up my whole slide, but you can still hear the audio. And the last thing on here is I like to have spinners options. So this is one that I like to use because I like the colors and it takes up most of the screen. So it's Super Teacher Tools. And basically you just add your students' names or whatever you want to do. Like if you want to have it be like a social skills time where they ask a question, you could have these spinner labels be questions like, oh, what are you doing today? Or what's your favorite color? Whatever you want to go for, and kind of add those in here. And then if you're doing an activity with students, okay, like this one's turn taking. So whose turn is it? I click on it, it's going to spin the wheel. Oh, it's Julia's turn. Let's go to Julia. So that might be a nice way if you have like several students popping up in a live, also how to kind of take turns and do things in a bit of a different way.
Isn't there another one? I don't know if it's the same site, but it's like the random name selector or something, and you can add images.
Yeah, there's a bunch. There's a ton. So yeah, I know there's one you can add images. I'll have to check back and figure exactly what that is. You might be right with that name, Nadine.
On the one where you mentioned with the music slides where it had the video off to the side, did you have to select, isn't there like something on the format settings so that it automatically plays? I'm just making sure so that way if there's someone watching this and they don't know that.
Yes, let me just go to, because sorry, that one isn't like on the edit right now. So if I like insert a video here, so I'm just gonna look at a video of cats or whatever. So, and I wanted to add this video here, and I select, it's gonna automatically pop up with this format options over here. So say you only want to play like the first 30 seconds, you can go in here and edit and just write, 30 seconds. So it's only gonna play 30 seconds. And you would click autoplay when presenting. That way it can go off right when I go to the next slide. So I don't have to hit play, because when I minimize it and bring it over to the side here, sorry, I gotta just kind of move out of this and bring it over to the side here, you're not gonna be able to see it to like press it when you're presenting. So what I like to make sure is just that it's still attached with those red lines, and then I know I'm good to go on the side. So that's what you just want to make sure it's autoplay when presenting when you're going in there.
Cool. And I always like those options too, to let teachers know that you can autoplay, and how you brought up that they don't have to watch the whole video, and you can actually control that on there. Can you also control the closed captioning as well?
From the video?
Mm-hmm. On the format options, I couldn't remember off the top of my head if that was also one of them.
Don't think you can.
Okay.
Let me.
I'm putting you on the spot here. Sorry.
I don't think there's anything for you to add closed captioning like popping up here. I mean, I think if you had the video playing from YouTube, you might be able to use like YouTube's closed captioning. Like I could.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. That's what I was wondering was the YouTube closed captioning.
You could still use the YouTube closed captioning, but there's not something that's like built into
where it's like automatic or whatever. Okay. Sorry, I just thought you guys would like that.
Yeah, and then so that's kind of a big part of my website is the templates. I also have some nice different Chrome extensions you might want to look at that might help with some students. Also, I know there's a lot of students using iPads as well. These are a bunch of different apps and accessibility pages and links to send you to. And then I also do add different how-to videos in here as well, how to do different things. Right now, it's a lot towards obviously how to use things with Google Meets, because that's what we're using a lot of right now. But there's some fun things like creating a virtual background in Google Meets with Zoom. That's one of my favorite ones that I've done so far, because I feel like it's just been a lot of fun. As you can see, like I'm in the background up there with like in a safari. So it's kind of cool. And
oh yeah, could you demonstrate that one? I saw you put something on Twitter about that.
Yes. Do you want me to play this, or do you want me to kind of like pull it up now?
However you want to do it.
I'll play this just because I don't know how it's going to work with screen sharing, but let me just kind of
1 second. I want to show.
Mute myself and I'll kind of talk over it. So first, these are the images that I use. If your students are using like some sort of, I'll use to a lot of visuals, and maybe they're using like PEC symbols, or if they're using pod books or wherever, if they're using some different symbols, Toby Dynavox, which makes board maker symbols, which if you work in special ed, I know a lot of people are used to board maker, have made a bunch of different backgrounds, and they're adding more and more. So these are meant for Zoom backgrounds, but obviously we're using Google Meet, so I wanted to know how I can use it with Google Meet. So if you are in your Zoom and you go to virtual background, there's this plus right here. When you do the plus, you can add your background that's like on your desktop or wherever you saved it. So I saved this Safari symbol back here. So when I go to Zoom, that's my background. And so what basically I did was I just started a Zoom meeting with nobody in it. And when you have the Zoom with nobody in it and you go to your Google Meet, when I present something, so if I was sharing, obviously me being in a Safari has nothing to do with the social story, but if it was related, it would be more helpful. But so you can share your screen and have your students still see you with kind of a fun background while you're reading a story.
Cool.
So it's just kind of a nice option to be able to kind of like have that virtual screen and have kind of a little fun. I feel like the more kind of like new stuff you can throw out there that's like a little eye-catching, that's a little fun to kind of bring in some likes that the students like, the more interaction and engagement you're going to get out of kind of all your kiddos.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my website is there. Feel free to check out all the templates. Anything else that's there. I have that contact page. If you have any questions or you have an idea, you don't know if something's working, feel free to let me know. I'd love to try to help you guys out or your families out as best as possible.
And if you guys have any questions for either of the ladies, someone just asked, where do we get the backgrounds? I think you told us, but can you say it again?
So I can, let me just send you the link.
Okay. And all of the links that we're adding into the chat, I will put, after we're done with this session, I'll put it into the description of this session. So that way you guys can get to all of their documents.
So I just sent it to Nadine, but it's basically Toby Dynavox. They own Boardmaker, which is those Boardmaker symbols. So, and they do a lot with like eye gaze systems, speech generated devices. They have made their own backgrounds. They've added a few more now since I've been there. So some of them are funny, like this grocery shopping one. This is kind of hilarious. But they're great. You can just download them right to your computer, or you can just drag and drop it right to your desktop, which is what I did.
That's cool. I love that idea.
Sorry, I'm just adding the link into the chat. Someone was asking about if that works in Loom, and I was trying to think off the top of my head if Loom has that option, if you're not using Meet, like if you're wanting to just record yourself, like a screencasting.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that one either, but I will check into that.
If you're just like recording yourself, so what you could do is you could pull yourself up with that background in Zoom, and you could like screen record yourself with that background if that's what you're trying to do.
That makes sense. Yeah.
That was
what I would do. Yeah.
Cool. Well, we have a few minutes left. Either if you two want to continue to share some things, I'm just waiting to see if anybody else has any questions. But
can I share one more thing? I forgot. I had one more.
Go ahead.
So there was also one more thing that I have in there with forms. So I have a weather form. But so this basically is something that like if you do morning meeting weather, but like say you have those students that can't show up, or you could do it live right then and there and have them fill it out. But they could fill out what the weather is for the day. And you can add images right into your forms if you didn't know that. There's like a little picture symbol over here where you can add pictures in. So you can add some nice pictures in. So like, what does it feel like outside? I try to add some people with some different clothing, and then they could just submit it to you. Also, I wanted to piggyback off something Anna said. She brought up Tar Heel reader. It's also Tar Heel gameplay. So I have a lot of students who use Switches, so as an alternative form of access to get to play their games and activities. So these games are great too. So like they can play like little videos, and at some point, I'm not sure this video in particular when it will stop, but at some point it stops and they have to like hit a switch or use something to have it keep going. Like I'm going to look up and see if I can just pull up the ones that I've made. So like this is an Elmo one. I usually have it pretty much always set to like around 30 seconds. It goes like this. Listos, ready? More. And so now it stops. So I mean, my student, you could play it. You could do this with them virtually if you wanted to. Like if you shared your screen and you were doing this as a motivator, you could have your students use their voice to say more. You could be watching them through the live and seeing if they sign for more, use a recording to say more, and then you could press more. Or if they're using a switch for alternative access, they could hit it and then go to keep doing more. So it's just kind of a nice little fun thing if you're looking for something other than like a book-based activity.
Cool.
Is it, are they all cause and effect, or are there other games on there?
Some of them will give you like 2 choices. Like it might say like if you want more, you're all done, and it will like stop it for you. You can kind of make your own game as well. So you can make it kind of however you want. But most of them are pretty cause and effect.
That's awesome.
And to jump back over to the Google Forms thing, when you were talking about the images, I've always inserted images regular, but when I saw Anna inserting the board maker images, that was where I was kind of like, oh my gosh, why didn't I think of that? And I know some of you guys might use Google Read and Write. And if you're using Google Read and Write, you'll notice on there that Google Read and Write that it has the option for a picture dictionary. And so I know when I was talking to Anna before, I was saying that if you're in a Google Doc and you want to type a word that you're looking for, the picture dictionary pops up and you can actually drag those images and put it onto Google Slides. You can put it into Google Forms, into those different options. Our district actually has a district-wide license for Google Read and Write, but no matter what, teachers can use Google Read and Write all of the options. It's 100% free for teachers.
That's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Gosh, I feel like our time just flew. But this is a ton of great information between both of you ladies. Anna, there was somebody on here. I'm not sure on the Google Forms. It may be locked that only Greenfield can view the form.
Okay.
So you might have to, and I told them, I said, I'll have you go in and take a look at the settings afterwards. Sometimes if I share something like that, I have to go in and make a copy of the form and then make it so other people can take a look.
Okay.
I appreciate you guys so much for taking this time. And I tell people all the time, I'm a mom that has 2 kids at my own home that are special ed. And I'm always on the lookout for what are great tools to use with students and my own kids. So thanks again so much for joining us today, ladies.
You're welcome.
All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm going to end the broadcast. And remember, you are happy to go back and watch this at any time. And in the description, I will also be putting the links to all of the items that they added in here as well. Thanks again, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.